Okay, so welcome to Teacher Teaching Teachers. We're going to do a quick, no, I don't know how quick. We're going to do a tutorial on building uh, AI simulators, um, and there are various kinds that we've made. With Stacy, one of the teachers that in Michigan, we built simulators, for example, of characters from Shakespeare's play, right? We have built simulators quite a while ago around the war in Gaza. For example, there have been historical simulators that we built with Bonnie Breeze Bentham. Um, I think we might call these public figure ones also. Also, we've built simulators over the years for authors so that you're reading a text and you can then ping the author and say, hey, why did you put that here, right? And get sort of have a dialogue with the author. So those are some examples. Does that make some sense, I think? Okay, so earlier this year, I think it was like February or so, it doesn't matter. I took all of that and tried to figure out, could I create a writing partner that creates a simulator? To say to the AI, hey, here's what you want to set up. So there are 5 steps. So there is a writing partner that will lead you through the process of making a simulator. And what I'd like both David and you, Andrea, to do is to think of somebody or a discipline or a way of thinking that you would like to create a simulator for this evening, right? And as you're doing that, I'll describe that I have a friend who has a friend. I've met this other friend who sadly committed suicide some time ago. And that friend is writing about that experience, right? So I'm meeting with her tomorrow. She's a writer. She is and a teacher. She has not much interest in AI. So I've asked her for advice from a writer's perspective. So she is relating that experience to the deaths of dying. Deaths of Despair. I don't know if you know that book, but and so I took one of the authors of that book and created a writing partner that is that author. That is Dr. Ann Case. So tomorrow I'm going to introduce her to that. Right. So that's what and I'm going to ask her. She couldn't make it tonight. I'm going to ask her. Is this useful? At what point? Her first question back to me was, "What if Ann Case doesn't think this is related to her theory?" So she'll get a chance to ask with that simulator. So with that introduction, which was longer than I thought it was going to be, do you have something in mind that you'd like to explore? Do you want me to share a screen? How do you want to do this? Those are 3 questions.
Well, I think it would be cool to, when we were doing the pilot with that group that Stacy was in, we did have that one classroom that all the students there were working with their IEPs, and they described an IEP bot is what they called it. But I think it's almost like broader than that. It's sort of like, if I get stuck in my work, what are some things to get me unstuck? So thinking through different accommodations, like, should I turn to speech to text, or should I go do some oral rehearsal with a friend because I'm thinking about writing, or do I need to consult with my teacher given this whatever is getting me stuck, or like I just don't know how to get started on whatever is in front of me. Could we think through like different UDL strategies, for lack of a better word, that might remove barriers for any kid, whether they have an IEP or not, to be able to keep moving forward on their work, something like that, so they can have their they could see their vision come to life.
Let's use UDL. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's use
Yeah,
UDL
I think
as the concept. So, David, so what you could do is one way we could go is David could just do whatever he wants over there and play along. Is that okay, David?
That's fine. Yeah.
And if you could share screen, Andrea, you could drive and we could just lead you through it. Does that make sense?
Present, yes. Screen. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so since nobody reads and we don't either, just to review the 5 steps here, right? First thing you're going to do is tell it what you're going to what you want, and
so that's right here with start a new conversation.
Yep. Yes, and then just to say, you could put in. I would put universal design for learning. Or you could put in an actual person who you think is an amazing UDL person. I want to suggest you just put the UDL in and then see what it comes up with. It's kind of spooky in how it finds the right person. But
so should I put the guidelines are in a PDF, so I don't know that I could put it up here.
Say
in
that
this
again?
box. The guidelines are in a PDF.
Oh, no,
or do you think it will know it already?
No, yeah, just put.
No, okay.
Let's just put. Okay. Let's see what happens if you just put universal design for learning.
Just write that.
Yeah.
And then hit continue.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm going to say, can I put a question? How can we use universal design for learning to help? Should I say help me get unstuck when I'm learning or working? Something like that. We'll see what it does. It feels like I needed a question or a statement. I feel like just shouting universal design for learning at it wasn't enough.
Hi, Christina. If you want to log in and play along, feel free, but you could play.
We just finished, or I just finished yoga, so we're eating. Sorry.
Cool. So you're going to watch.
Hi, Andrea.
I can't.
Hi.
Okay.
There's a view of our balcony.
Well, I can't see you. Hold on, because I'm looking.
South Philly.
I lost you guys. I don't know where your faces are.
She's on another tab. It's okay.
Okay.
Can you see the screen? You can, right?
Yeah.
Christine and Jack.
I can. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it came up with somebody. Do you know this person?
David. I almost said David Rose when you said a person. I'm like,
this is what I mean.
That's creepy.
Isn't it creepy? I put in a librarian who used to publish in the library journal, and it came up with Debbie Abelok. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
But, okay. So
I mean, this is all correct here.
It is. That's what I was going to ask you. So you're reading.
Yeah, these are actual titles that I know. I don't know about teaching every student in the digital age. But he wrote there's something like that. So
yeah. Okay, so start the conversation. So
okay.
You're smart to double check. Step 2 is to copy all of this. And step 3 says, don't worry, all of the steps are repeated later. So
I just Control C.
And David, do some UX while we're thinking. Yeah, just copy that. Now go up to make a writing partner.
Okay, so I hit new writing partner page.
You already did?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm only sharing this tab. So let me stop sharing and start again. Screen next.
So have you actually heard him speak?
I'm going to.
Oh, that's cool.
In 2 weeks.
Wrong box.
See him face to face.
Go
Wrong
back.
box.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back.
And we're going to work on these boxes, but go where it says
Okay.
you're on the right page, but see where it says create, put it in that box.
Oh, not description. Got it.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention. I was chatting about David Rose.
Now
So we're gonna
let's
say
put his David Rose
the
simulator.
David Rose unstuck simulator. That's what I want to call it.
And what I do for now, just because you have to have something in the description box, is just copy the title and put it there for now.
Okay.
You can change that later. Okay.
And what about category?
Public figure.
Sounds good. Are we sharing it?
Or education or educational theorist. I don't know, which do you want? Let's make it.
Oh,
Is there one for that?
learning theorist.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I need to share it with any particular groups right now?
No.
Okay.
And advanced settings. The only thing I want to ask you to do there is turn it down to 7 or 0.7 for the temperature.
What do you like about
0.7.
0.7, Paul?
So
Yeah, explain.
when we leave it at 1, for some reason, it gets stuck. Like if you use Spanish, it uses Spanish the next time too.
Oh,
But that was the old model, so I haven't tested the new model. So honestly, I don't know. It's just sort of. And I have been reading about P, that one, and feeling like that one could be turned up. But let's not go there. Let's hit create. We can go back and change this later. When you hit create, you end up in a page where you can test things and you can change things. Okay.
All right.
So if you don't mind pulling that middle bar over so we get more space on the right side. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then open it up and go down and find so it does different things. Let me see what it does in your text.
So you want me to scroll up?
Yeah,
or
I want to read through the text with you.
Oh,
and
this
see
one right here.
Yeah.
That we just open that box up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it looks pretty good. Sometimes it copies like the directions instead of the actual thing, but I think you're okay. If you go down to step 2 or 3, let me see from the beginning. There you go. Quote. You see where it says quote?
Quote.
Right above where you are.
Oh, right here. Quote from the text to make your points. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now the ask me to find are instructions for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ask me to find?
So yeah, it should have, it doesn't matter. So what you should do now is do you see the equal that between those two?
Right here. So I need to pop interviews in here.
Thank you for saying it.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So I have to go find some.
Now here's the thing. This is a bit tedious. Right now, Jeremy is working on he had it fixed and then something broke and he has to fix that. Anyway, we will soon be able to, instead of pasting interviews in here, we'll be able to upload PDFs of those interviews and just be able to ping those, right? Mm-hmm. But we're not there yet. So we're going to paste interviews at this point.
And Paul,
so
I have a question. This system, you cannot put a URL in there and get the AI to go outside, navigate the internet, move between servers to look at.
The model we're using doesn't have that.
Got it. So
4.1 does not do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So if it's an interview, I'm going to have 2 voices in there. Well, should I put the whole thing in?
So
like this one.
You found one. Good.
Yeah. It's a whole transcript.
So yeah, just copy it and put it in.
Just any of it or the whole thing?
It has 2 voices, but the voices are identified, right? It has his name. Okay.
Yeah.
It's smart. It realizes which ones it is. Yeah, which ones.
Okay.
Can it watch a video and
Nope.
it has to be text?
Yep.
Okay.
Could be a
Okay,
PDF.
so I've got one
thing.
interview in there right now.
Okay.
Do I need one more?
So a couple of things here. Yes, go ahead. As I'll say those couple things as you're researching for one. One more would
Okay.
be nice.
I'm gonna do it.
Chris Sloan and I tested the BF Skinner one, right? And one of the things he asked at one point, well, he says, well, it's answering pretty well without these interviews in here. And it probably will, but there's a question of, is it valid or not, right? Like he asked, how do I know what it's coming up with is what this person would say? And part of the answer, I think, because at the end you're going to make a link to these interviews, is in each comment it's going to say, hey, this was made up by AI, but if you want to see where some of the language came from this, here's an interview that this came from. So what this does is it provides it's sort of like RAG, right? It provides a text for the AI to kind of check itself against.
Okay, I've got 2 transcripts in there now.
Oh my God.
Wow. Nice, Andrea.
We ready?
I love working with Andrea. No, the other point I want to make that you just blew out of the water is that this usually takes a lot of time to find the interviews right? But
the one benefit of UDL is I know if it's a podcast, there's going to be a transcript because it's accessibility. So they're going to make a transcript.
Yep. Good point. However, and as I talked to Chris about, that those moments of doing the research and finding somebody's actual voice and reading through them and deciding which ones, and so it's a little bit of a research project. Nothing wrong with that, right?
So I just finished
but it
reading.
has to be part of the curriculum. Yeah.
Can I make a connection to that?
Mm-hmm.
I just finished reading the AI Con, which is about like all the hype, but the last chapter was about like how do we hold on to the good ideas even when there's all this hype about what AI can do. And they were really making a case for friction, that we need more friction when we work with AI, and especially when we're looking things up, that when we're trying to get information or understand an idea, that we need more friction because we have to do exactly what you just said. Is this the right resource? How do I decide if it's valuable or not valuable to put in here? So I really love the pedagogy of that because I think it's really important in terms of building critically literate learners,
Andrea, can I just add to that we're working with, so Wested just developed a framework, a friction by design framework for working with AI. And
what?
Yeah,
I need to see this. Is it published?
I don't know. They just shared it at ISTE, and we developed like a draft writing thing to go along with it. So let me send it to you after this call. It might be public, but I'm not sure yet.
I would love to look at that because I think the friction is a feature, not a bug.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what they're and it's very much about, Paul, you'll like it. It's like very much about like teachers making like decisions about their, what are they trying to focus on and leaning into the friction. So it's very much about teacher agency and ultimately student agency. So I think it's
this
a nice framework. Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Christina, when you said you did a draft writing thing to accompany the West Ed.
Yeah, so we worked on it was shared at Wested, and I'm looking to get feedback on it. I should talk to Tanya about how we want to get feedback on it. But yeah, this would be a nice group to look at it together with.
So Tanya and I talked about this too recently, and I've been talking to Wested people who deal with reading, and one of them. Anyway, it was our sense that we just need to get people together. There are a lot of things around at West Ed happening and with us, and we just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when
we
we
can
were
do that.
working with West Ed, we were working with their digital fluency folks, and I brought up Bob Montgomery. Like, I tried to make the connections and ask them about
Oh,
their
you
use
did?
of Now
Uh-huh.
Comment and everything. So yes, like there's definitely some important group conversations to have. And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just one more friction note.
Mhm.
Debbie Abelok, for, I don't know, 15, 20 years, for a long time, wrote in the American Library Association's journal a column once a month called Friction. and so that, and that was,
Whoa, that's pretty
What mind
It's-
blown. This is so
yeah, I
cool.
know. I just thought I'd
I'm
check.
so glad I said something.
Anyway, yeah, so let's keep that word.
Yeah, we're keeping the word friction.
Okay, you're going to update.
Okay, I'm updating.
And before you go anywhere, I want you to scroll to the bottom of that text. And again,
In this.
I don't know how to do all the coaching I'm doing now, but whatever, except to do it. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff in there which is good to have. But then you see the last paragraph?
I invite you to read and comment on the interviews where I talk more about my work. One is with and the other is with. Oh, I got to say where they came from.
No. So what you need, and this is maybe more friction than you can deal with right now. Let's leave this for later, just so we can test what we have. But we put that in there, and this really came from the experience we did around the war in Gaza, and the people wanted to be able to see the original sources, so that if you put the link there, first of all, you've got to put the articles in. And if you put the link there, then every time that person talks, they say, "Hey, I just want to remind you that I'm an AI, I'm a made-up AI thing.
I love this.
And here's if you want to learn more, here's the actual stuff of me, right?"
I missed this because I missed those sessions with the war in Gaza partners.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago. I'm just saying that it seems it's not necessary for the AI to work, but it is sort of like given some validity to what you end up getting that way. Right?
Well, and it's also about like what does it mean to get the AI to work? I mean, we're still mediating ideas to eventually get to some human product. So, I mean, like, sure, does some text get generated? Yeah, but that's not the point of what we're doing.
Right. Okay, but if you scroll down a little more on the outside, yeah, you'll see a couple of links there. One is a share link. And so if you have created this writing partner, you could then share this with your students anywhere, and they could go there and just chat with it, right? So that's a possibility. And when they open it, they end up opening a private page of their own where they can do that chatting, right? You have one, right? You see the one that's yours. Yeah, go to that.
Is that this over here or no?
Yeah, right there, where you are. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And start talking. Start a conversation.
All right. Start a new conversation. I can say, I am working on, what should I be working on? An essay about writing with artificial intelligence.
Oh, go ahead. No, you can. You're making it up. You can.
Yeah.
But what I want to suggest is just if you met him in the hallway, what would you say?
What would I say to David Rose? Okay, I would say, what do you think the next phase of implementation of UDL for our schools should be? Like, where are we going next? That's what I want to know.
Right. And just, I said this to you earlier, but I'll say it again because I think it's cute. No, no, but the when Chris Sloan created his BF Skinner one, my first question was, "What's this about pigeons? I don't teach pigeons." And so,
Mhm.
and so, but he came back and said, "Hey, I understand that." But anyway, it was a thoughtful response.
I mean, I can't even tell you how excited I am to chat with the BF Skinner one.
Well, that's another question. Like, how do we make the one that he made for his class available to Andrea to? Anyway,
To just geek out with. Yes, that's what we need.
we have to think about some of that.
All right, so I'll just hit.
Without overwhelming your like. If we gave you all of them, there'd be 400 of them, right? But yeah, okay,
Mhm. So I'm gonna hit start conversation.
sure. Do you want to read it?
Great question. When I think about the next phase of UDL implementation in our look at it, it's got cute little boxes. I see 3 major priorities. First, we need to. Oh, by the way, speaking of accessibility, if we're using a screen reader, you may not want the emoji in the front because it reads the emoji and then reads the next thing, and that can be confusing if I'm using a screen reader.
Okay.
It's one of those things that's hard because those emojis look so cute, and then but if there's a screen reader, it's going to cause some issues. So it's something to think about as you're thinking about UI.
No,
all right,
and all of those issues we would like. They're on our list. We hope to get to them.
Yeah. So we've been handling it by putting the emoji on the back end of the sentence, so you still have the like visual interest. But anyway,
go for it.
So making equity and inclusion central to UDL. It's time to engage students and teachers as co-designers. Love it. That means listening deeply to their experiences, inviting feedback, and modeling what it means to be an expert learner. So that right there tells me something, which is that I pulled old interviews because UDL 3.0 just came out and they have banished the phrase expert learner from UDL.
Really?
And now it's about learner agency. So I think that's kind of interesting. But I think I talk about how UDL has to grow up and impact the isms. So this is cool.
So then you get
whole school change.
So then, and this is helping the learner deal with the result. But the 3 things in the boxes are places for you to go next. Like, which of these 3 do you want to work on with continue? When you continue with AI, what do you want to work on? Try one. If you don't mind.
All right. So I was going to try. So I hit with AI. Did I click the right button?
Yep, you did.
I'd like to continue with code designing. And please note that we are using the phrase learner agency now instead of expert learner. There, I fixed it. We'll see how it handles my correction.
That's right. Good evening, Bonnie. Nice to see you.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hey.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hello.
Okay. Look at this. It's so cute. And look, it says, I love that you're using learner agency. Well, you all made that up. So, well, this is fun.
Okay. Now,
keep going.
You could keep going. You could also, so I'm not going to say what you could also, why don't you say, if you were, what are some of the ways you can imagine using this as a reader and as a writer? And like so far you're using it as a chatter and as a, right? And these distinctions may or may not matter, but we're playing with them right now. So as a writer, how could you use this writing partner as a reader and then to chat with?
So I think as a writer for myself, is that what you're asking? Yeah, I think one of my favorite ways to use AI is to help me get clear on what I want to say, and by like refining my big ideas down to something that's more doable and writable in like the time I have. So I could see that being where I go next with this as a writer. Be interesting. I think as a reader, that's kind of interesting.
Andrea, I may not have been clear in my question. Maybe I mean, how could you use Mr. Rose here when you're writing?
When I'm right, I don't know what you mean.
Sorry.
I'm being dense. I'm not.
No, I'm sorry. I'll try to say it again. And maybe you did answer it, and I just didn't understand. What I'm saying is that you've created a writing partner now.
Yes.
How would you, when you're writing something, or what kind of writing might you want to do, that he could help you in your writing when you're making your IEP? Could you consult with him, or yeah.
Oh, right. So the way I envisioned him is that I have a student who's stuck for some reason. Like I've got a student who really struggles to get started writing. So from the teacher lens, or I'm a student myself who's getting stuck with a particular writing process, I would want to ask David Rose, like, what strategy should I try with this learner? That would be, or as a learner myself, like I'm procrastinating too much. So like how might I, because the 3 brain networks are engagement, representation, and action and expression. So if we think about like where a barrier might be in engagement, like not getting started or struggling to focus on my goal or whatever, then like what David Rose might say to me in the middle of that task as a reader or as a writer. It kind of doesn't matter what, or the math or whatever I'm doing, like would it suggest ways to get myself unstuck?
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I were going to start over again, like return to partner, or what should I do?
You don't have to. You could go back to that page again. However you...
Okay. Oh, start a new conversation?
Yeah, but refresh, because the browser holds the old one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so start a new one. So I am stuck.
While you're doing that, David, have you been playing, or you have any questions or thoughts, or?
No, I'm just digesting the entire flow here.
Okay. So one of the things from what Andrew just said, because I wasn't able to make my question clear, is that there may be a like we might take a student's IEP and upload it.
Yeah.
And then ask him what he thinks of the IEP. That's one idea.
Right. And that's what the kids were saying too. Yeah, the kids were saying that they wanted some help advocating for themselves for what might work for them, or like phrases. Oh, where did it go?
It's right there. It's the top one.
Oh, the top one. Oh God. Here we go. Creative rituals. Yeah, let's explore UDL strategies for writing. Let's see what it says.
Paul,
yeah.
she's still using it. Like even with that example, you're still using it as a chatter. Like you're
we're still chatting.
Chatter versus a writer versus a reader. You're still using it as a chatter, right?
Yes.
But if I had like a real purpose for my writing, like right now, and I was really stuck. So this one's he's still giving me teacher language. So like if I were a kid, seeing that, you know what I'm saying? So like I think we have to tweak it a little bit. I just was trying to get to the vision of what the kids wanted. They wanted something that they could turn to instead of turning to the teacher when they're stuck.
Right.
So let's show you where you iterate, whether or not you do it now. Go right at the top right corner. It says return to partner. and you can make changes now in that box. Yeah.
In this one, the
Uh-huh.
persona purpose.
So you might go in there and say, hey, you're, use language that's, I don't know where you would do it. You'd have to read through the whole prompt and find where to put it. But anywhere is probably okay. Go for it.
Please use student-friendly language. For example, giving a student strategies they can use themselves rather than discussing what the teacher should do.
Andrea, I would tell it what age, what
Please consider, please assume the student is in 5th grade.
Mhm.
I don't know. I always pick 5th grade.
So when you're ready, hit update.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just, the conversation you started is there on the left side. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you could just ask the same question again. And
Ask one of the questions you've already asked and see what comes up differently so that you can get to what it is you want.
so you can automatically go over there and, oh, yeah.
Mhm. That's the better way, Paul, what she did.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Didn't go.
Is it at the bottom now?
Oh, it might be at the bottom now.
No, isn't that it right there?
Where is it?
I don't know.
Oh, this one. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Lower the stakes for your first draft. Set a timer. Change up your environment. So it's not giving me teacher language anymore. Tell yourself I'm going to write just one sentence. Tiniest possible chunks. Mm-hmm. So it gave me the same 3 ideas here, but these up here are more student friendly.
So where did it? Why is it talking about neuroscience for 5th grader?
Yeah, I know. I don't.
It's also
even
though it's supposed to limit it to 2 paragraphs, I think it's still quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you might go in and find that and change that to less.
Like 3 points. Like each time it responds, you want it to count out 1, 2, 3 different points, major point themes or something. I don't know what word you want to use, but keep it to 3 because 5 is too many. You can tell that.
But we only have about 10 minutes left.
Right.
You keep playing with it though, Andrea.
But I'm going to keep playing with it.
Yeah, just keep playing. And let me tell you, Andrea, this is one of the hardest things, to get it to do exactly what you want it to do. And it's not just a one and done play.
No, I know. And I want to get better interviews too, because the interviews are old. And so I can tell that it's a little bit old, that there might be better interviews. But we were just quickly Googling for interviews for this one.
It doesn't really matter what it is you use. It's what you want it to do for you, because it will do for you what you want it to do. But you just have to keep fine-tuning it until you get to the aha moment, like, yeah, that's it.
That's the one. Like we did with the rationale creator. That was the other UDL one we made.
Yes.
I loved how that one turned out.
Well, let's go to your library for a second.
And then
way at the top,
sometimes,
it says
Andrea,
my library.
Sometimes it's like the writing partner gets tired of me or tired. So it'll just say fluey to Yui. And then I have
the word to use.
Yeah, that's
the lower right on the right menu. You should find the UDL guy. You may have
Yeah,
to expand.
It's like the rationale maker or something, I think we call
Yeah.
it. Oh, there's David
That-
Rose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is the rationale maker there? Should be.
I don't see it, but that's okay. We can make it
Oh, it's
again.
not okay.
I don't know where it went. It could be, you know what? I was using my personal Gmail and this
Oh,
one.
it could be
Like,
that.
Okay.
it could be that it's in my other one because
Okay.
for various reasons I have
I
two
had that same problem too.
accounts.
You are not alone.
Like, that was a mistake, but cool. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. But thank you. That was fun. I'm gonna keep playing with David Rose.
Okay, so more general thoughts about simulators and whatever. We have some time to talk here. Not much time, but a little bit.
So here's just a silly question. I'm just trying to
Mhm.
understand the difference between a simulator and just a regular thinking partner. Is a simulator just really supposed to be like someone based on somebody real and is that the distinction?
I think that's a good one. Yes.
Because some of the
It
thinking
does
partners
does
are
get-
based on theories or frameworks, but they're not necessarily based on the person's words, right? And like the simulator is sort of based on the person's words, I guess.
That's
Anyway.
a good distinction, I think. So, for
Okay.
example, there are peer review ones, right,
Mhm.
that come out of Peter Elbow's texts,
Yeah,
but it's not Peter Elbow, right?
simulator, right?
It became the learning theorists. It became an interesting question for Chris when we reviewed that, because he was like, "Well, do I want them to be dialoguing with Frere, or do I want there to be a critical theory that they're looking at?" And I don't know. I just think understanding the distinction and then making decisions about what you want to make
Mhm.
is what it's about.
So Paul, the simulator would be, because I was talking to Andrea like I was making those midterm assessment, and that was a simulator because it's not a partner, it's not a writing partner. And it was based on information that I gave it that I wanted specifically it to do when responding to someone's writing.
Yeah, I don't think that's a simulator then.
Okay.
And you know what? We're just making up words here to some degree, but
No, I was just asking based upon Christine.
no. I think what Christina said earlier is on. It's just like if you can trace back, and that link at the bottom is probably important. If you can trace back to the author of this, right? That's what you want. However, all of the critical lens simulators we've created aren't to specific people, so
True.
this gets mushy. Yeah. And I'm being quiet just because any further thoughts about some of this, like, and then the Dr. What's her name, Dickens that you
Dr.
created.
I was going to ask about her. Is she a
That's
simulator?
that's a simulator, yes,
Okay.
because and again, if you click at the bottom of any of the comments, it'll take you back to the oral histories and stuff that you found to right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting. I mean, I feel like the simulators, like in my mind, it reminds me of the Gaza Hamas. I mean, that when it was, after October 7th, then you pulled in all those, and so those were like first person accounts and journalists basically, and they could respond to you. I mean, perfectly or imperfectly. It's like, but that I thought was an interesting case of why you might want to do that. And then the oral histories that Bonnie's doing is another interesting case.
Mhm.
Like if you're really trying to understand a historical perspective or something, you know.
Right. And another case that I would make is like Chris Sloan was doing a research project on farms and different kinds of farming. And so we created a Wendell Berry for him, right?
Right. Right.
So like to think of a person who animates your topic,
Yeah.
like, is an interesting process, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that
So again,
animation piece is interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It just like reminds me of just how purposeful and intentional we really have to be with like all of these things that we're creating. And I think what's so different about this conversation compared to like I was looking at the page with all the Gemini tools that they're rolling out to teachers and students next year. And, you know, it's just sort of the opposite. It's like digital worksheets. You know, it's just a different, it's such a different approach.
Yeah.
You almost need no intention to use those other tools. You know what I mean?
Once Chris has his, I think there are 12 students. Each of them make their own learning theorists, right? Then they can play with each other's, and have dialogues with each. You know, there's things to think about doing, right? I wanted, and he mentioned that in the curriculum that he was given to right, that their AI exploration was to go to ChatGPT or Claude and have it make a joke about the learning theory, right? So and, no, I mean, and I just say that, and he said, "Wow, you know, this is really hard. What I'm going to ask them to do here, but it feels much more meaningful on some level, right?" So, but I do want to. I love that our talk about friction, but I do want to say that we even didn't finish the how do you build a collection, how do you put the interviews up from that, you know, put them in the collection, how do you make a link to that collection. So there's like curriculum around this that makes it work, and I value all of that friction, but yeah, I just want to say that. But
yeah,
but
well, I mean,
it needs
and like
intentional work.
Some friction you can fix with UX UI, and like, I mean, I feel like not all. I don't know. I feel like the friction you want is a little different than that, right? Like you don't want that like to make a collection to take 10 hours.
Right. And I think like if you look at other sites like PlayLab, I think is the other closest thing doing what you're doing, and they won't even let you on that site without an hour. And then with them training you how to click all the buttons, and then they put you into a professional learning community with other users who are pushing all the same buttons so you can get help. And so like you could think about that too as you're moving the site forward, that they put this intentional barrier up so that people get some support.
There was an EdWeek article. They were also at ISTE. Anyway, like it's about should teachers be designing tools. So I do think that PlayLab is sort of like an interesting. I wonder if it's who they are and if we know, you know, if it's worth connecting.
It's interesting to me too, Christina. I don't know if that's the right way. I just know what they're doing. So
I haven't even seen it though. But I mean, I think that
I have access, and it really reminds me what we do in here. So I have access to it. It's very simple. It's like Chip AI actually. If you could go on Chip AI and play around with that, except for that it's nonprofit, and they have some of the same team that worked on the Scratch platform working on their platforms.
That's what I heard.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they,
There's like remix features and yeah.
Yeah, you
do they
begin
use
by.
visual programming?
What'd you say?
They had visual programming like in Scratch.
They don't. They're not doing
No.
any programming. No.
No, it's entirely form field stuff, and it's about, you get a sort of general field of icons, kind of that icon view of bots that have been made, learning partners, so to speak. And then you can click one and you can click remix, and the whole thing shows up, and then you rename it, and you start going through what is essentially the persona, product, purpose section, which they
Yeah, that's
added.
a strong Scratch design. That's from
Yeah.
Scratch. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Christina. You should see if you just sign up for it. It's interesting to compare and contrast. But like what I guess it like goes back to the ethos of it too. Are we like an open community of learners, or are we gonna gatekeep? And the reason why you might gatekeep is so you can force people to get trained so they don't end up in frustration and giving up. But then you have this other frustration. You have to like pick your hard. You have to have the hard somewhere. So like the
That's
hard,
right.
where is it going to be? Pick
Yeah,
your hard.
design,
That's
yeah.
really the question.
That's
One
right.
of the things that David and I have said to each other recently, and Dave usually may say it, maybe, is that one of our goals though is to have the social, this the social annotation of writing and social annotation of reading and then chatting, coming out of the digital discourse format, right? So that
I think
that we
that's
have this,
really cool.
we have
Yeah.
this platform, and then the AI supports that other goal.
Yeah.
Which, anyway, so just to say that, yeah. And I don't know if I did want to mention that. I don't know if you've been noticing, I have been, that people are starting to talk about prompt, not prompt engineering, but context engineering, right? And context engineering has you think about all of the different things that are going to the LLM, not just your prompt, and like managing those things too, right? And so to some, I don't totally understand it, because, and there are parts of that that we're not doing, where we're not going out to the web and so forth like that. But thinking about engineering the whole experience and not just the prompt is, I think, what we're playing with to some degree too.
Yeah.
Just to say. Yeah.
I just want to say, I really like the idea of centering the social annotation and that dialogue, centering dialogue, like human and
too.
AI dialogue, I think is a really strong piece of this that probably isn't anywhere else. I agree.
Well, it keeps the human in the center, right?
Yeah, it keeps the human there. Right. I think that's really important. So, yeah.
Cool.
I'm sorry, friends. I have to go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you, and thanks for playing with
Thanks,
us.
everyone. Really interesting.
That was fun. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.